Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Housewife Historian, and we are here to talk the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to be talking a little bit in code today because if you watch my channel and you watch my live, yes.
Is the plane going down? Are we gonna die? Why are you saying I'm sorry?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Housewife Historian. You can call me Lindsay, and we're talking Real Housewives of New Jersey. We got a new episode yesterday, and so we have to talk about a couple of things, break it down. This is a pre-recorded live, just so you guys know. It makes it a little bit easier. I just film it like right before I post it, and then that way I'm able to be available in the comments with you guys. Makes it a little bit easier, but I also like to let you know so that if I don't shout you out or shout your comment out, it's just because it's a pre-recorded live. So I'm in the comments live with you guys, but I have pre-recorded the audio and the video. Anyways, guys, before we get into all of this, make sure that you hit the like button. It really makes a difference for my channel, and subscribe and turn your notifications on. It definitely makes a difference and helps the algorithm with my videos. So let's talk housewives, preferably the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We are only on episode 3. This was labeled Boys Will Be Boys. I didn't really like that label. That's just me personally. I want to know what you guys think. Did you think that that was a weird title to name tonight's episode? There was a lot to break down. We saw the first 6 or 7 minutes. It was going around on Instagram and Twitter, probably Sunday or Monday, and definitely showed the altercation between Louis and Joe. But there was a lot of other things that was going on in the episode that I want to talk to you guys about. A couple of different things. For instance, Rachel Fuda, I'm liking her a lot. I like her husband, but we have to talk about the fact that Joe and her husband have known each other for a very long time, probably longer than maybe even she's known him. Not that that's like super relevant, but it's nice to have a little bit of background. And he brings like this hilarious gift to Frank when they have the boys' night out. By the way, guys, of course, everything in this video is alleged. Frank was sick. I guess we didn't realize how sick he was. Didn't he fall? He hurt his legs. And then something must have transpired after that with his health, because they were talking about being in the hospital for a couple of weeks. And we see Dolores with Polly again this episode. We see all of the husbands, and we see Bill really. I mean, I was flabbergasted when Bill Aiden said to Joe Gorga that he was basically the brother-in-law Louis didn't have. I was like, damn, Bill, I didn't know. I mean, I knew that Bill was like a boss. I mean, he's a doctor, for God's sake. Like, he doesn't have to prove himself because he has a DR in front of his name. And really, you don't really have to prove yourself much more after you become established like he is in a community. So when he says something like that, I was like, damn, Bill. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was appropriate. And he said it in a nice way. He gave him like that respectful disrespect, which I was picking up on it. And that's a lot of what like Melissa and Joe give people, is like respectful disrespect. So I enjoyed that. But we have to talk about Danielle, the new girl. She goes with Melissa to watch Melissa put the order in for Envy. We'll talk about that. And then also we want to talk about the fact that allegedly Marge knew since February, before filming, that Teresa and Jennifer had met with Laura, her ex-best friend, right? So think about that for a second. So Marge knew in February, because there was this whole thing, right? Laura didn't get casted right away. Then she met with Teresa and Jennifer, and Teresa put a call into production, got her another interview, and she wasn't chosen then. But the best friend doesn't count the fact that after Christmas came and went and she didn't hear from Margaret. I think that's what really like put the nail in the coffin for the ex-best friend Laura, because she said they were like family and they had celebrated Christmas together for like 25 years or something crazy like that. So I feel like at that point she got the message that like Marge didn't want anything to do with her anymore. So at that point, I think she was like, oh, well, F it then. And, you know, a month after Christmas, let's say, I don't know, a month and a half after Christmas, she calls up and meets with Teresa and Jennifer. So to me, that says that Marge not reaching out around Christmas time really is what sealed the deal for the ex-best friend. But what do you guys think about the ex-best friend? You guys know she did another interview. This coffee tastes so good, guys. Side note. I'm like getting a sore throat. I do not have time to be sick. I don't need to sound like an asshole when I say that, but like I just don't have time to be sick. I just don't. The ex-best friend, there was so much. I had to take notes. The ex-best friend also talks about Joe B and Joe G in the ladies club together. Okay. She says that like off rip in the interview. Pretty much. She slides it in. The interviewer doesn't like kind of ignores it for a second, doesn't address it. Like at first she says something like Marge should be worried about her husband with, you know, Joe Gorga or something like along those lines. And like instead of being like, oh, well, what do you mean by that? The interviewer just skips over it until he asks her another question, and she comments and she says blatantly, well, Marge should be worried about Joe being out with Joe G at the STIRP club, the ladies club. Okay. And so there was no asking, right? Sorry, I was just getting a message from my bill. My bill's due. Sorry, that's what it was. Anyways, let's see here. Then Melissa also goes on Watch What Happens Live, and we're going to get into all of that too. I might have to do 2 videos. So let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, Danielle, the new girl, was allegedly coming on as a friend to Teresa, right? She allegedly was coming on as Teresa's friend, and the producers were like, get to know each other. And they were pretty honest with viewers that Danielle was coming on as a friend of Teresa's, even though like they didn't really know each other, but they were getting to know each other. But that's who Danielle chose to be on her team. Like they needed a couple more people over there, right? So Danielle, initially with viewers, we thought she was really going to come in and rock with Teresa and Jennifer. At least that's what I thought I was going to see. And it's kind of not what we're seeing from her. One, it seems like I don't even know if I want to use the word fit in, but that's kind of what I want to say. Like she is overly like people pleasing almost. I don't even know if that's like the right word. I don't want to say she's like trying to fit in, because I don't think that she's not herself. I think she seems very authentic. I just think that you can tell she really wants to be friends with these ladies. And also Teresa team members she was like hanging out with Melissa, went to see how they did the order for Envy. I was a little surprised to see that. And then they start talking, right? Melissa and Danielle start talking, and Danielle discloses the fact that she has a brother who doesn't speak to anyone in their family. They had fallen out during COVID. She was making videos like at home because she said, you know, she went online and seen all these people that posted these funny videos of their kids and, you know, were making, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. And she wanted to do the same. So she started making videos, and her brother started making fun of her, and that made her mad. So she blocked him, and he got mad, and they had words, and then he didn't invite them to their wedding and hadn't spoken to them since, her mom and her dad. But here was my thing. I like Danielle, but I think it's important to realize that a lot of times when people are posting their children on the internet, they're exposing them to a lot of people that are on the internet that are not good people. And if you go on TikTok, there is a lot of accounts now that are starting to expose these other accounts of people that exploit their children but try to make it look like they're not. But if you go and look at all of their followers, it's all these weird ass old, creepy people that do weird. I mean, it's astounding, literally. And all you really have to do is go onto TikTok and put a couple keywords in. I follow a woman who's an advocate. I cannot remember her name right now, but I posted one of her stories just yesterday on my Instagram for you guys because she had uncovered this guy who was responding to 12 and 13-year-old girls, and that's all that he followed, and that's all that followed him. And she was able to, through his digital footprint, backtrack and get a name. And here he had been like involved in a burning of a synagogue or something like that. And they had shown mercy on him because of his mental, he wasn't all, he has serious mental issues. And they didn't give him the 12-year prison sentence like they were going to. They showed mercy on him, and now he is free and not being monitored. Or if he is on the list, I don't think that's the case, but he's like popping up on all of these young girls and children's accounts. And it can be really, really, you can really see it on people's pages. Like, for one, there was an account, it was a newborn baby, right? And the mom was just documenting what looked like innocent newborn baby process from newborn up, right? But videos that, like, the bedtime bath video, it had over 1 million views versus baby eats applesauce, or baby rolls over, those sort of things. But baby bath time gets almost 1 million views. And you look at the accounts that are viewing this footage and you're like, what is really going on? So there's a price to pay if you want to put your children on the internet. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, or people, whatever the case may be. You are a parent, you're supposed to protect your children. And if you feel like that's what you're doing, you're protecting your children, and with whatever videos and stuff you post, then that's okay. Obviously, that's you are aware of who views your account and who views your videos. So if you're overlooking that sort of thing, then you are a parent that probably shouldn't have custody of a child. However, I'm just saying that you have to understand, if you're going to post your child on the internet and you're going to do cute videos and you think that that's going to make you money, it's not. That's like trying to be, I don't know, like a nice, I you guys pick up what I'm putting down. I don't have to go into anymore. I'm just saying that it seems like her, I don't know if she just maybe is a little bit, I don't want to say, maybe just not even amateur, but just, oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, oblivious. Like, she's just oblivious to those things. She's oblivious to the dangers of the internet. So, but you have to be mindful of those things when you have kids, especially if you think you're going to put them on the internet and make money off of your videos. So anyways, long story short, the brother allegedly was like teasing her, making fun of, I don't know if the girlfriend was too. The brother and the girlfriend get married, don't invite the family. And Danielle says that she can't help but think, because it's been 2 years, nothing like this has ever happened in their family before. And she can't help but think that it must partly have to do with his wife. And Melissa just does not want to hear that. She's like, I'm gonna out here and I'm gonna represent all the sister-in-laws out here. Like, we are not evil bitchs, yada yada yada. I can't make Joe do anything that he doesn't want to do. Over the years I tried really hard to be peacemaker. And it's just so funny because Bravo is literally giving Melissa a storyline that is mirrored to her and Joe, and she isn't picking that up. And if she wants to stay on another season, she should have really engaged with Danielle and been like, you know what, why don't you, we should really meet and with our husbands. And then that way, maybe you can talk to Joe about Teresa and just what it's like from a sisterly perspective when you have a brother that's not speaking to you. Maybe it'll soften his heart. Maybe it'll look at Teresa differently. Like, why don't you and your husband come over to our house? But Melissa doesn't do that. She immediately is like, that's not the case over here. I always told Joe, he just never listened to me. Okay. Then we see a scene with her mother and her sisters right at the shore house. Mind you, Melissa's mom is like really pretty. Like, I feel like if I hope to God I'm not, but if I'm like single and living my best life at her age, I feel like I would be like her. I can't help it. But I think that, I know this is mean, but I really feel like Melissa pumps the mom and the sisters up just like she does Joe. I swear she pumps him up and she gets them upset. Like, because when you love someone and you see them hurting, you get upset, right? Like, if you have a daughter, if you have a sister, and somebody is giving them a hard time, that pisses you off, right? We've seen the sisters like nasty comments, tweets about Teresa. We know about the christening. I don't need to say any more about that, do I? We all know that Joe Gorga's mom, or Joe Giudice's mom, got in a fight with the sister, and it was really crazy. So I'm just saying that when they filmed Joe Gorga in the boys' night, I like loved him again for a second. Like, he was so funny. And when Rachel Fuda's husband came in, his name's John, I think, he had like a gift bag for Frank, and it was like Adult Depends and Pepto-Bismol because Frank had been in the hospital. And I just thought, like, they were just joking around. It was like the old Joe again. And what I realized was it was because he was without Melissa. And when he's with Melissa, he has to be a certain way. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch any red carpet event. When they're interviewed, Melissa does all of the talking. Okay. And even if the question is asked to Joe, she will interrupt and re-navigate that conversation right back into what she wants it to be. And then she continues to talk. He doesn't talk on the red carpet. He's not allowed to answer live questions, even when they're being interviewed. Even at BravoCon, I'm just pointing out some things. Okay, so anyways, where does Danielle's dad look like? He looked so familiar to me. Didn't he look familiar to you guys? I told you guys before about Danielle. She was on the MTV series where she went out to LA and she was trying to be like, find her glory in Hollywood. And she had like a southern accent because she was from Long Island, and it was like an hour-long episode. I think it was cute for back in the day. And then she also did the Britney Spears Biggest Fan. I posted a video of that and told you guys about that before, which she also won. Danielle's very pretty. Her kids are very, very cute. But I just think that she's still very new on this kids' clothing line, newer than she maybe wants us to think. Like, maybe she started it right when they were like, okay, do you want to come be a housewife? And she was like, sure. Because when in her interview, when they asked, she was talking about where she worked or something after she had her daughter. I couldn't make out what it was. Maybe I can Google it. I'm probably gonna have to do two parts because there's just so much more I want to talk about with you guys. And then you guys know her like stepmom is married to Caroline's brother or something, or was. It's like her stepmom. I'm like, how's your stepmom married to somebody else? Do you mean your ex stepmom? Let me see what this says. Danielle, she's no stranger to reality television. Danielle is a Jerseylicious clothing store owner who originally, it's like says Hales, Hails. Do they mean nails? Like she previously did nails? I'm so confused. Why doesn't she she has a store or she has a clothing line? I'm so, what? Hold on, let me look here, guys. She was on MTV. Okay, we knew that, right? She appeared on MTV's True Love. That's what it was. In an episode titled I Am a Staten Island Girl. At the time, she went by her maiden name, DiPietro, and the show followed her efforts to become an actress. The process made her question if she would lose her New York accent while pursuing her roles. She also joined HGTV's 2014 show Family Under Construction. During the episode, Danielle and Nate showcased their renovation process before revealing the results of their dream home in the Garden State. With enough personality for MTV and HGTV, it's no surprise she became friends with Teresa. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. I wonder if that's the same house they live in. Let's check. I wonder, I think I know what they're talking about. That's like when HGTV would go in. I thought they would like give you a list of 3 houses that you were allowed to buy. You would buy the house and then what was left over would be for the renovations, but you were like on a budget. Okay, looks like 2014. Fall River native Nathan Cabral and contractor Roger, somebody on DIY show. Oh, her hair is dark there. Nathan Cabral and his wife Danielle's home renovations, glitter and all, will be featured on DIY network show Family Under Construction. It says set to start October 4th. The 8-part series chronicles the couple's complete overhaul of the house from an old and very ugly house into a beautiful modern Hollywood-style mini castle. It's all done with the help of our amazing Fall River-based general contractor, said Danielle, who coined her own term for the look she was going for as bougie, describing bougie as a combo of Carmelo's fur meets Marilyn Monroe's glamour. Danielle, a self-described glitzy girl from Staten Island, New York, said she even brought bougie to the front of the house when she got her husband to agree to add a glitter sign. So they did an 8-part series on them. Let's see what we can find. This is crazy, guys. Well, this was 2014, though. This must have been right when they got married because their kids aren't that old. What year? 2014 would have been 9 years ago. So it's probably right when they got married. So I don't know if that makes them her an expert. I bet this is whenever they first got married. It has to be the house I bet that they still live in. Lots of articles about it, like in their hometown. So it looks like you could probably find it on YouTube. But again, just lots of articles. It must be the same exact house they're living in. That's why her house is so nice, probably. It had that nice black and white, like black and white checkered and floor when you walk in, you know, the Some people call it the Masonic black and white. Sorry. Okay, there we go. There's the actual HGTV. Now I'm like obsessed about it. Anyway, guys. Okay, so moving on. You guys know how I get. I'm like, I have to keep searching. Where is it? Episode. But it keeps bringing me to another TV show that has like their name in it. It's like really weird. Anyways, guys, so on from her, then we go on to Rachel. She's with John. John has a son. I don't think he was married, but he has an older son. She seems like a really loving stepmother. And then they have the two little girls together. They do a little photo shoot for the girls' second birthday. It was really cute. It reminded me of when Teresa used to take her girls to have their photos taken. And she starts to talk about how they have basically 5 or 6 embryos left. And she says that she thinks 4 children would be really great. And he kind of looks like, oh, I don't know if that's, what we should do or not. And she they flash back to a confessional where she talks about having a miscarriage when they first were married. And she cries about it. And when she's crying at the studio, it was a really sweet, authentic moment. And it was like really cute because John was like, can we have a moment? My wife is crying over here. Like, hello, can everyone, my wife is crying. It was really sweet. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, should they stop taking your kid's photo? It was just cute how that was like, he probably just didn't exactly know how to handle that moment. Men get uncomfortable when women cry sometimes. And so it was just really cute. But I really like them. And I think that her husband is funny. Even though, like I said, that him and Joe Gorga have known each other for a pretty long time, I would say. Also, again, love the boys' night out. Frank really talks about his run-in with Polly and how Polly tells him, don't send a woman to do a man's job. I thought that was really crazy to say to Frank. I didn't know if he really felt that way because we really didn't hear him say much about it. I don't know if have we seen a confessional from Frank yet? Regardless, I was like, damn, that was kind of. And again, loving Joe Gorga, he was being so funny about it, but in a way that he was still moving along the subject. He was asking questions. How did you feel? Do you want to be back with Dolores? Are these feelings like you miss Dolores? Like, how do you miss Dolores? And Frank says he misses their relationship, as in like, he probably just misses that she's been very, very available to her children and her ex-husband for a very long time. And so I think she's at a point in her life where she doesn't want to be available to everyone anymore. And she has every right to do so. If you feel like you are really missing such a void in your life because she's not available to talk to you all the time on the phone, if Polly's around or on vacation, and you probably need to figure out what is causing a void in your life and who should be filling that, because it certainly probably shouldn't be your ex-wife, like in real life, right? Like, you guys film together, so you talk about filming. I don't know. It's just all. I mean, I love Frank, and I think he is very, very sweet. And I think that really what it is he really just misses a friendly family dynamic where everyone is comfortable around each other. Like, maybe he doesn't want to hang out with Dolores all the time. Maybe he doesn't want to call and have her to be available to have a conversation with him whenever he damn well pleases. But maybe it's more just so the kids and the situation of being in the room, being able to film, because I'm sure Frank has a contract now, guys. We talked about this. I talked about it in my last videos last year. I said, we're going to run into a problem because what happens when Frank gets used to hanging out with all of the guys? He's part of the crew of the guys in New Jersey. We know how Bravo feels about these guys, right? They're like the house husbands, whatever you want to call them. people really appreciate the authentic bond of the husbands in the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And Bravo doesn't want to mess with a moneymaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really know what they have yet. They're still kind of testing out the waters. For a long time, and even now in the other franchises, the husbands don't get a contract. They're just obligated to film. Harry Hamlin told us that whenever Lisa signed her contract, that's how he were able to get a clause in it, and she had that 5-year contract, and he wasn't obligated to film because they realized that the contract for the wife obligates the husband as well without a paycheck. But Dolores needed a +1, and Frank didn't mind coming along, right? Why wouldn't he want to come along, hang out with the Gorgons, get some camera time, whatever the case may be? But then when it becomes like he's expected to be there, and husbands are looking for him, and the audience is looking for him, and Dolores has somebody now, she has a +1, she doesn't need him. Bravo wanted to make sure that they secured him, because basically Dolores couldn't say, I don't want you around anymore. I have a man to fill that role now that's here and present and wants to film with me. She couldn't just give him the boot and say, like, out of respect for me, this is my gig, hit the road, Jack, because Bravo had secured him with a contract. Which, good for Bravo. I'm just saying that definitely probably changed things after he had a contract, because it didn't matter if he went with Dolores or not. It didn't matter if Dolores wanted to deal with him or not. He was going to be there. And so I think that he really just misses being able to be all in the same room and there not be any, what is the word I'm looking for? Any animosity, right? Polly seems very direct. I mean, and think about it in real life. To say that while they were filming, to say, don't send a woman to do a man's job. I think Frank was just trying to like make a joke, like, Dolores has been keeping us apart. Ha ha ha, let's tease Dolores and joke or whatever. And Polly just got real serious real quick. And I was surprised. I think Frank was probably surprised too. Maybe he was completely caught off guard, and that's why he didn't really respond. Maybe that's why Polly didn't come. Anyways, Joe Gorga did a great job really moving that along. And again, really enjoyed seeing him without the significant other. That was for me. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think about last night's episode. I'm going to go on to do a part 2 because there's some other things that I want to mention about what we saw last night in last night's episode, and what we saw on Watch What Happens Live. Also wanted to talk about Joe G and Joe B. I didn't get a chance to talk about that either. And also Jackie. Got to talk about Jackie and how she looked Danielle up and down and said her shorts looked like that she just pulled them out of the hamper. And I was like, somebody posted a photo of her and was like, I know that this crazy lady is not talking about somebody else's appearance. We see her with tracks hanging out of her freaking head. Like, she's a beautiful woman, right? But like, her style is hit or miss. She's never like been known for like having a banging style or wearing great, not like, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that. And then also, again, we have to talk about, I didn't get a chance to go into this, about how Marge knew allegedly about the ex-best friend coming forward in February, not when they started filming months later. So want to talk about that. So look for part 2. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn your notifications on.